We'll be talking about that later on this morning, too. But coming up next, we'll get fit at Martha Stewart Living Radio, Sirius 112 and XM 157. So we're going to do a little weight training, but without pain. Specifically, he actually, before he started his, this guy, John Sitaras, before he started his business, which is a private training gym, he met with a pain specialist at Lenox Hills Hospital so that they could do a non-injury strength training. So, like, if you have neck injuries, back injuries, you're like, you know what, I can't lift weights. I can't. You're wrong. You'll find out in just a few minutes. And if you have fitness questions, fire away. Anything you've had problems with. Like Betsy said to me, I want my abs to be stronger, but I have back pain. Mm-hmm. And I find it very hard to find exercises, ab exercises that I can do that don't hurt my back.
There's no video that says this is for you. The video doesn't exist.
Well, you know, I don't know the answer
for you. No, it doesn't exist because everyone has their own individual thing. If you're, conventional and you don't have any back injury, you could probably do the videos pretty well.
It's hard, though. Back injury, leg injury. Mm-hmm. So how do you actually do weight training if you
time thing? Maybe you only have 22 minutes. You can work out 22 minutes.
I'm telling you, I have a 22-minute workout. We've talked about it. That's a cardio workout, though. But you know something? Weight training is so super important. The thing is, if you don't know how to do it, and you've been a member of a gym for a while, and you never used that free training session that you got, how do you know where to start? So, we thought we would bring in somebody who can answer that question.
A primer.
Has his own private training gym. And you can pretty much bet that he knows what he's doing, considering he used to be a professional bodybuilder. He's going to pump you up, is what I'm saying. Fun. Yeah, it's going to be great. But, we're going to talk about lifts that you can do at home. You don't have to be a member of a gym. And don't start bringing up the whole We Fit thing again.
We're poor now.
I know, right? Actually, you know what's really weird? I think I told you this, that I talked to one of the trainers at the gym, and I said, so obviously membership is way down. She goes, heck no.
Well, I just think she's seeing members who've joined, who've never had the time to go, but suddenly found time on their hands.
You know what? Maybe that's what it is. But the people, she said, most of the people in the gym now are people who have lost their jobs. I said, so they keep their gym membership? She said, yeah, because it's the only thing that stops them from being stressed out. I didn't think of that. But you're right. Probably
hey,
people...
you look like you're new, and I'm not new.
Right, I just have time on my hands. Yeah, but why
come to the gym now?
Why not make it something positive? So I applaud you if you're in between jobs and you kept the gym membership. Good for you. But you don't have to have a gym. You can do it at home. And we're also going to get tips for total beginners. But John Sitaras opened up this private training gym in Midtown Manhattan and studied with a pain specialist at Lenox Hills Hospital. So he was working on a non-injury strength training methodology, and the reason we thought it would be important to bring him in is a lot of people have injuries, and they're like, I can't work, I can't weight train now because I have a back injury, I have a leg injury, or whatever, and that's absolutely not the case. So welcome, John.
Thanks for having me here.
It's good to have you here. You used to be a bodybuilder.
Yes, correct.
So you could bench press, Betsy. Go ahead. You can do it right now.
Can you do the two of us? That would be funny.
That would be funny.
Putting me on the spot.
So you actually can, if you have an injury, a back injury, a leg injury, you can still weight train.
Certainly. Actually, you should always get it cleared with the doctor first, but encourage always range of movement that's comfortable. So what I say is actually have limbering, which is movement through the range of comfort first. Ideally, you have to get blood and oxygen into the muscles. So if they stay stagnant and you don't move it at all and you have injury, it's actually going to have atrophy and it'll get a lot worse.
It'll get worse.
Yes.
So you really should be doing it.
Yes, but when we say work out when you have an injury, we mean conservatively. Just get blood flow in there. Think of it like a nice, slow movement, like swimming, nice, comfortable. Actually, just go through the range of motion first before adding any weight.
Well, can we do the practical side of it? Like, let's just say we have a truck driver who calls who's got terrible back problems. Can they call and say, all right, I'm going to explain to you what's going on. I have this in my leg. I got this in my back. Can you recommend an exercise for me? Can we do that?
Certainly.
Okay,
yes.
So if you don't have to be an over-the-road truck driver. You can have any kind of, back injury, leg injury, something that's been bothering you for a while, and you would still like to do some weight training. Absolutely, this is your opportunity to call John Sitaras right now at 866-675-6675. So let's just talk about the reasons that you should do weight training to begin with. Why should you?
Well, the muscle has to have an average strength and endurance. the ability to bring in oxygen and nutrients into the muscle. If it doesn't bring any oxygen or nutrients in the muscle, it will shorten. It will go into spasm, and then muscles will just start shutting down, causing a lot of pain. If the muscles are either too tight or deconditioned, the muscle will shorten and go into spasm, and you can have many errors in spasm, and then you finally don't, you're immobilized. So we need to stay alive and move. So the ability to bring in oxygen into the muscle efficiently is so key to optimal health. See, there's one thing to live longer, that's one thing, but to improve the quality of life, that's another. And we all have access to our contraction. All muscles need to be moved. Those are the voluntary muscles that we can control, which is about approximately over 600 voluntary muscles that we can control. And if we don't have the proper range of motion, we don't have the proper contraction, the muscle will deteriorate.
All right, so Betsy has this thing.
I have none left.
Oh, would you stop it? She has this thing where was it a car accident? There was a couple different things that happened to you.
Yeah, I have no, there's like nothing in my lower back anymore.
She has no feeling in her lower extremities. Which makes it fun to dance with her. But, so she's got back
Listen,
issues.
I can follow your every step.
True.
Like a rag doll.
She has to stand on the top of my feet to do it. But so she's got lower back pain, but she wants to have some rockin' abs. She came to me, when was it? Like a couple months ago. She's like, what do I do? And this is what every woman comes up to me in class and says, how do I get rid of this? And they're pointing to below their belly button, the lower ab thing.
Yes.
We call it the pooch. The pooch. And so what can she do with the back injury for her abs?
Well, let's start by getting range of motion. So we need to warm up. Obviously, you need to warm up anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes so you can get a
What does that mean, though?
Go out for a jog, Betsy.
When we used to run, right, we would, stretch our legs, we'd touch our toes, we'd hold our foot behind us. Is that what warming up is?
Warming up actually means doing an exercise with moderate intensity, such as walking.
I can walk.
Walk.
Ideally, my dog. We walked a long time yesterday.
I'm going to put you on
that's
wheels.
A start. Ideally, what you want is a light sweat, which is typically 101 degrees. Now we know the muscle is warmed up and it's pliable, and it's easier to actually open up the muscle to its elongated state. So after we warm up and get a nice light temperature, some can warm up in 5 minutes, others 10, depending on your condition. And after you get a nice temperature on the body and it's pliable, then we can actually do slow movements to lengthen the muscle in the form of what's called a stretching. Mm-hmm. And that's a static stretching, which is a nice, safe stretch. And you can hold it anywhere from 8 seconds for beginners, a little bit more advanced, 20 seconds and up. But for beginners, 8 seconds. So ideally what we want to do is, if you want to work your abdominals and you have lower back pain, we want to actually increase range of motion in the area first. So one way is actually just sitting in a chair, and a safe way is touching the floor. As simple as it seems.
Come on, Betsy.
That actually...
The chair is elevated, so that would be pretty funny. I'd probably roll right out. What happened to Betsy? She fell off the chair.
Which is higher.
On a stool. Oh, my gosh, we should do that at home. That would be funny. As funny as the Latin dance video.
No, do it here. Workman's comp. Go ahead. Keep going.
After we get some nice...
so we're sitting in our regular chair, like our kitchen chair.
The kitchen chair. Well, the kitchen chair is actually fine. Yeah, the kitchen chair is fine, and you can start bringing your head towards your knees. And you want to open and lengthen the back. And typically you might feel a little bit more in the neck. If you feel in the upper back or the lower back, that's a signal which part is tighter. So we always want to know if there's any sharp pain or pinching. And if we have that, that's where we want to stop. We don't want to push further than that point. So now we're bringing blood into the area. We're lengthening the muscle. After you would get out of your chair, lie on your back, knees bent, and it's a safe position. And what we can do is just bring one knee forward, wrap your hands behind your knee, bring one knee forward to your chest, and bring it down. Now we're actually bringing blood into the area and lengthening the muscle.
But that's into the back, not into the abs.
Well, actually, you can't really dissect it too. That part, the back that you're working, stretching, the abdominals have to contract. So you're actually working the lower region of the abdominals.
See? That wouldn't be too hard to do. You could do that while watching TV.
Yes. And then if you wanted to, typically, if you're doing better and you have no sensation in the back, what you typically can do, which is easy for everyone who's a beginner, you can actually do a bicycle up in the air, mimic the bicycle. So the knees coming up and down, up and down, up and down, and you're activating.
Your legs are straight up.
Straight up, yes.
Because otherwise, if you lower them down, then isn't that kind of making your arch weird?
Well, typically the bent position automatically puts the spine in the correct position. It has a slight curve on it. So you don't want to do anything vigorous. You just typically the heels will be facing slightly towards the ceiling. If it's too high up, then you're actually using the lower back just to stabilize that movement. So we don't want that much pressure on the lower back. So we're just having a nice, easy motion.
Well, where are my hands?
Down.
Are they by my side? Are they behind my neck? Where are my hands?
Typically, your hands will be on the floor to ground you, in case you feel that.
Because this sounds like a good, if you drive, we have a lot of drivers, 45 minutes or more each way to their workplace. This sounds like a good thing to take the stress out of their body.
Absolutely. What I can say for drivers, my brother used to be a truck driver, and literally he used to go into spasm and go into pain, and then he actually couldn't work. And he has 3 kids, and he always was confronted with this problem. And one time I told him to get out of the truck when he stopped home for lunch and to put his leg up on the curb, and he couldn't even put his leg up on the curb in terms of stretching the hamstring.
Oh, my God, he was tight.
Really
So what
tight.
happened?
Well, he actually didn't take any advice from me. And
I
even
mean,
though
a
fitness
sibling
is my
didn't
life,
take your advice.
Relative, what do you want?
I own a gym, and I guess it's too close to home. To make a long story short, his muscles did seize up, and he actually injured his back, and he's off of work now for almost 2 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Severe injuries.
So okay, you're saying that the muscles actually, without the oxygen, shorten and shorten and shorten to the point where they seize up on you.
Yes, and that's called a spasm. And then, therefore, when it seizes up completely, it's prone to ripping movements that your daily functional movements.
Wow. So we have to stretch before we even do the weight training.
Yes.
Okay. So can you, because we have a lot, most of the Sirius XM listeners have long drives.
Yes.
Long drives. So they need to stretch. Can you give us 2 or 3 great stretches and 2 or 3 very beginner weightlifting exercises?
Sure. What I recommend is that everyone stand up. And
not at the moment if you're driving.
Yes. If you pull to the side. Well,
right.
If they're pulling off to the side.
When they get to work.
When they get to work, or even sometimes if it's a long trip and they pull into a rest stop. I suggest that everyone elevate their heel onto a small, within like maybe a few inches, like a curb, to stretch the hamstring. You want to alternate the hamstring.
So your toe is on the curb and your heel is pressed down?
No, that's the calf.
That's the other way.
Just actually finding a place where you could stand and lift one leg up with a straight leg on any surface, any curve.
Oh, just put your heel on that surface.
Okay, I gotcha. So the toe is up, the heel is down on the curve.
Yes.
Okay.
So you want to open, you want to breathe. Everyone tries to push, and they're pulling, and they're not going to get flexibility overnight. So you want to be able to breathe, inhale and exhale. Use your diaphragm for that.
When are you breathing and when are you stretching? In other words, are you exhaling when you stretch, or are you... You know what I'm saying?
Well, typically with the, it's different from a contraction for a resistance. You want to relax. So I tell people to do relaxation. It's actually inhale through the nose, and you fill up where the air in your belly button. So if you fill up the air in the belly button, you're using your diaphragm, and then you exhale through the mouth. You don't want to have an outie. So typically, you want to relax. Any which way that you can relax is the ideal way for stretching. A little different for resistance because you need to actually exhale on the contraction, almost like if you fill up a balloon and you let it go and it's pushing out the air and it's flying up. The human body works the same way. When we need extra force for the contraction, we need to exhale. Automatically, it would be done if... for the life of you needed to push something, automatically you will see people grunting and moving
out.
Yes.
Exhale, out.
So that's instinctive after.
Okay, I gotcha.
Watch tennis sometimes, you hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Every
Another
shot.
important stretch is the calf stretch. Very, very important to stretch the calf. So after the hamstring, we want to typically prep the calf. So we can use any flat surface. It doesn't have to be on the step. The step is a little bit more advanced. And we're actually putting our hands against the wall. And we put one leg forward, we have it bent, the back leg stays straight.
It's like you're being arrested. Not that I would know about that. But with one leg in front.
With one leg in front. Well, you can...
You are married to a gentleman who's an officer of the law.
So one leg is in front and the back leg is straight. So the front leg is bent.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you start to inch your chest towards the wall.
Oh, all right. I'm going to go do it, Betsy. You keep talking.